And welcome back to Spoiler Kings, guys. We just keep on going. Mayfair Witches, this finale, man, this is something, guys.
Wow.
What was your first thoughts? I just want to hear what you guys. I just want to sit back and listen to what you guys thought about this.
I'll let Brandon go first.
I liked the feel in particular of this episode.
Okay.
I really liked the kind of gothic kind of atmospheric vibe of the show overall, particularly with this episode. That was probably the main thing that worked for me, the feel of it. That said, it's still kind of hard to get a read on this show overall. With kind of what like we've said in the past, some of the acting is all over the place. Alexandra Daddario, who I've always liked as an actress, I'm still kind of questioning if this was the right role for her.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it was working, some of it wasn't. More often than not, she wasn't quite working for me. Okay. I'm kind of. I was hoping it would stick the landing a little more with the way that it ended, because I think that would have been, like I said in the past, that would have been where I was really sold and in for the upcoming second season. And I was just very much in the middle of the road about it.
Okay.
I had actually just watched it a couple hours ago, so it's still kind of fresh in my mind. It was just,
I understand
when it ended, I was just like, huh. And then I was like, I audibly just went, huh.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, all right, that was an episode.
But it's finale, and that's what it's interesting. I want to hear what Tank has to say, and then I'll go afterwards.
It was for me the best episode of the season.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean that's not saying much, because really, majority of the season was not the greatest. I think we had somebody that left a comment that on our last episode.
Yeah.
That review, they're like, "Oh, good for you guys for sticking to it," because I had to drop off after episode 2 or 3 or something. Which what I think a lot of people started doing, because it just started getting boring. Like the first one was good, second one you're like, okay, then by the third one you're like, this is boring, and then it didn't pick up until about episode 6 and then 7 and then 8. The finale.
I like I didn't mind that.
Yeah, but so I thought this one was the best one of the season, but it still had like some issues, kind of like what Brandon said. Like when it ended, I was like, okay, like I wasn't like the way other shows have ended a season, where I'm like, oh my god, like for me, like Interview with the Vampire had a great ending of the season. Severance is still one of my favorite endings of a season, because it's like that's how you prepare somebody and wanting them want more. Like the way this one ended, I was like, okay. Like I don't need more. Like if you give it to me, I'll take it. But I'm not like wanting it, So
no, it's not. It's not like it's Interview with the Vampire where
you're itching for it.
That was where I really got my Anne Rice fix. By the way, over the last couple of months, it wasn't like that where it was just left me waiting for more. Anxiously. I was like,
yeah, cool. Yeah,
cool. It's it's background noise as far as shows go.
Xavier Phoenix said they packed a lot in this episode. It's sad it took the past 2 episodes to do anything to actually happen.
Yes, that's my problem. Is like I feel like even the last 3. I'll give the last 3 episodes is where episode 3 should have started. Yeah. I mean, 6, 7, 8 should have been where like 3 was at. I mean, like that's where it should have been. Because then it was just like 1 and then 2. I'm like, okay, and then by then it's just like nothing happens until 6. And then 7 was really good, and then 8's really good. And I was like, I feel like it ended where the season should have kind of started, almost in a sense. You know what I mean? Like it never built up to a climax. It just kind of was flat and then shot up, but it never was like to the point where I'm like on the edge of my seat. Like that's why I'm like, this was the best episode, but man, if this is the best episode you got, I'm kind of worried about season 2.
Yeah,
Because
they're gonna have to step their game up.
Yeah, but hopefully, a lot of the setting up is done, and now we can get into some of the really nitty gritty, witchy craziness, that we can see, because there's so much that happened in this, like with the uncle, what's his name,
Portland. We've been saying this from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Cortland, Lasher, Sip has completely changed his character. Like they've done so much where I'm like, okay, they can really start off season 2 off and running. Will they? I hope so, but I don't know, because I don't know.
Okay. I realized while watching this episode, I don't really like their characters.
It's hard to connect with them.
Every single one of them, they have something wrong with them. Like Rowan, for a doctor, you're stupid. It doesn't make sense to me. Like it's, for to be an intelligent woman, just there's all the doubters. She's young. She's become a doctor. She's doing all these things, these great things. You're dumb, and so dense, and just very hoish. Just doesn't make it. Didn't make sense to me. I was like, that your character is so bad.
Yeah.
I found myself liking JoJo more than I like Rowan by the end of the episode. That was weird. Lasher, he's a good feeling, but I wanted to be. I want more. I wanted more Lasher. That I want more out of him. As a villain, like even as a complex character, Lestat is so much better. Like we like Lasher, the less we knew about him. The more we knew about it, I was like, man, you kind of a little bit of a punk, man. You should be doing more. I gotta be 13 witches. Like it just and seducing them, and wasn't that kind of weird? Like they had sex, right? Like she
in her mind, which is in her
mind,
and then he's gonna be her baby.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that, but
what?
It was like what in the Stephanie Meyer?
I was like, okay, no one else sees this problem right here. Then Sip, Sip's problem has always been he thinks too much of her. He sees her as a strong, a great person, a great character, and she's probably not any of those things. And then when he said, "Hey, I'm ready to go back in the game. I'm ready to listen to whatever you want me to listen to," I was hoping he was lying, and it seems like he turned so fast. I mean, my head was still spinning. I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, you turned to Carlotta in a second. Yeah. He didn't kill nobody. You know what I'm saying? But willing to take the baby away. But also remember this. It's his baby. It's his baby. So I was like, what? You ran off here and tell me nothing about that? It's my baby. Like, so I mean, I had so many issues with this episode. But it was a lot going on. It was action packed. There's a lot of stuff happening, but I didn't understand a lot of parts of it. A lot of parts left me wanting more or asking more questions. If that makes sense.
It does. Yeah.
Well, I feel like they could have got rid of like 3, 4, 5 and started like kind of made that into like you could have crushed 2, 3, 4, and 5 into one episode.
Well,
because you could set that up really quick, and then kind of set that up differently. But I feel like the ending, like her in her mind with the hours passing kind of thing, like that should have been a couple episodes. Like I wanted her to really dive deep with the 12 previous witches. You know what I mean? Because that's what she was doing. She kept meeting all the 12.
And then she was touching the walls, and then no one knew what the walls were saying. And she's like, "I know how to do this now." Like, how about you explain? I raised my hand. I was like, "Explain to the class what's going on." That's all.
This should have been stretched out to 2 parts for sure.
I don't understand how Rowan is. I mean, obviously she's two parts, but being that attracted to Lasher, knowing in your mind, just as a smart person, knowing that he's been with every single one of my ancestors, that doesn't gross you out. I don't understand. I don't understand. And as I said, the baby, Lasher's the baby, so she had sex with, and then you're gonna be raising this big dude. I'm done.
Was it a boy or a girl? Did they ever? Was
it was a boy? She said this is my son.
My son. Okay.
And that's why Sip said our son.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Xavier said, agreed. Not sure the characters are all that compelling to make me even want a season 2. I'm not sure either, man. Like before I was full go. Like I think we could do it. I think they're gonna stick the landing on the finale, and then I'm gonna go into the next series with a lot of she's trying to be a good witch and it being pulled in multiple different directions, and the pregnancy and how it affects everything. But they just everything seemed rushed. There was no need to rush it. And that's I think that's just a mistake. I thought her dealing with the fact that she's pregnant and having to deal with her mood swings and going up and down and making wanting to be with Lasher or not wanting to be with Lasher, dealing with Sip and understanding her place would have been a better storyline. Instead, they just kind of rushed all of it and threw all of it at us, and without explaining what was going on in her mind.
Yeah. And I think they kind of like, I get what they were like. They were rushing because of the whole like, oh, Lasher is not born in months; he's born in hours. And so then therefore the entire show has to be like super quick and super. I was like, you can still take hours and spread that out between a few
hours. Could be hours of a show. How about
24?
Like
24 is literally.
Yeah, exactly. One day.
So yeah, I mean, you could. I don't know. I think that her in her mind with everything collapsing on her, I wanted more of that, and we got what 10 minutes. I think
they didn't even explain what was going on.
Yeah.
They could have used Sip could have went back to the people, the woman who had him in a trance, whatever. Could have went to her and said, "Okay, hey, so what's happening? Let me find out what's happening in her mind." And she's like going, and she touches her, and like he finds her. She is in the woods. He finds her instead of Cortland, and he's trying to help her. And then Sip gets knocked out or something like that because the thing that he's part of is more important. So like he should have done something like that. Like I feel like his character arc just stopped and just went to a straight line instead of being an arc, a natural arc. I don't know. And Lasher wasn't. Cortland was the only one that had a pretty cool story. I was happy with Cortland because I always knew he was the man behind pulling all the strings.
But he seemed more evil than Lasher though, with the stuff he did. I'm like that's way worse. That's so much more worse than like the stuff that this evil demon is supposed to be.
I mean, raping. That's that word. Incest. She didn't even know, but she didn't even know about him. So that's the R word.
Yeah.
That's even worse. And then standing back behind and not saying anything.
Yeah.
And the killing the boy that they accused.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He just strangled him. And I did appreciate that it at least called back to that episode because I remember seeing it. And I was like, wait, what? Why is he wearing a mask all of a sudden? And then like she's pregnant, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I just feel like it. Like, I guess it was a cool payoff all the way from the beginning of the season, but I mean, do people remember?
Yeah,
do anybody remember that part?
Yeah, Xavier. I love shows that don't know how the world built their own characters.
Yeah,
not just events happening.
It
seemed like it was just stuff going on. It was just stuff happening without building a world.
Yeah, that's true. And
this show is just messy. I have the benefit of the doubt, but because of Interview with the Vampire, but I'm definitely dropping it. I might be what Cookie is right now. I am not feeling this world. I'm not feeling any of the characters. I have no connection with anyone. There is no person that I feel like I can't wait to see what happens next year or next season. It's none of them.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, not really. I mean, next season, unless they really hype up the season, we'll probably just do the whole season review at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Instead of doing a weekly thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do something major to really draw me in, and it's gonna have to be with the very first episode.
You know,
Yeah,
there's
I agree.
something else that bothered me. Did you guys watch the ending with the director?
Mm-hmm.
She seems to me like she might be the problem.
The showrunner,
Yeah,
blonde girl, blonde woman with the glasses.
Yeah, with the glasses.
Yeah.
She seems like she might be the problem for me. Her direction was not that good.
Because when she's explaining it,
I was like, what I was thinking. I was like,
exactly. I'm like, I think what you're trying to tell us is not what you're telling us. So now we're thinking and inferring different things. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I didn't think about that because she would say like, "Oh, and then this happened, and we felt like this is what he felt," and I'm like, "Really?"
And she said something like, and then we see Sip turn basically into Carlotta, and then and she's still, and you can see that Rowan's just so tired of men telling her what to do. And then I was like, that's not at all what I was thinking. I mean, why does she care about the guys? It's Mayfair Witches. Why are you making it about the guys? It's about her, you know, and who she is inside. And then if that's the case, why did she listen? Why did she listen to Lasher? It's more about her. Why are you focusing on the dude? Who cares about the dude? Like, like I just thought that was such a misstep. Like she doesn't understand what the point is.
Yeah, but also it's like, well, when she said that, she goes, "Oh, like she's overthinking what or caring about what men think." I was like, as she's holding her baby daddy. I'm like, I don't know, like, like how would you?
How do you even?
The way she explained it, she was like, "So yes, it's technically Sip's son, but it's
also Lasher's son in a way."
No, it's Lasher. It's not just his son; it's him.
Yeah, it is Lasher.
Yeah, it is Lasher. But you know, she had to be pregnant in order for it to work out. But Lasher entered the baby through the sex,
the mind sex.
What? Did anyone? What?
Yeah.
And then he wasn't there anymore because he was in the baby. What?
Yeah. And then it's a grown ass baby. That's like it came out like a 6-month-old baby. That's a big baby. He's already crawling around.
He was like, man, that's a big ass baby.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, but when she said that, like, oh, she doesn't care what men think, I was like, you're holding, like,
as she walks away with her son, who's also the baby daddy, who's also the one that she had sex with 3 hours after having sex with Sip. Okay, let's not go over there. Xavier says that's possible, Brian. Sometimes the showrunner is not a great fit, and sometimes the right one can turn things around for a bad show. I agree. I think if we had the interview with the vampire directors and showrunners, that this could have been better. They had opportunities to make it better. You know, and they just I think when you have someone acting bad that you normally see as a good actress or actor, it's usually because the director is not good.
Yeah. And like I've never, even though I've always liked Alexandra Daddario, I've never really looked at her like necessarily as like a Meryl Streep or anything like that, but I've never minded her at all as an actress. You know, she's proven in the past that she's decent with good enough material. So
the material, we know the material is good. It's solid material, but is that director? Does the director see it the same way? Do they have the same vision?
Sometimes it all boils down to, just like you said, Brian, the showrunner. You know, case in point, look how great The Last of Us is right now, and I think that is due in part of the showrunners behind Chernobyl, which was equally great. You know,
also respecting the
material.
Yeah.
So you really have to understand on at least a fundamental level, and then some, what you're adapting, what kind of content you're adapting, what kind of characters you're going to be focusing on, that you really need the audience to connect with and commiserate with,
Exactly.
and just kind of actively be invested in. And I'm just not seeing any of that.
Dude, honestly, the only one I'm invested in, the only one I care a little bit about is Cortland. Is that bad? The one bad guy, he's an awful human being, awful person. He's the only one that jumps out to me. Everyone else just seems like to be background noise.
Everything else.
Yeah, just
See,
like,
I'm not even caring about a person anymore rather than a scenario. This whole prophecy thing, it's like, okay, now, like, was the prophecy just having the baby, or is him becoming of power and stuff like that? Like, I just feel like because the group, the little the group that Sip was part of, they're like, oh, we're gonna watch it happen. But I was like, so there's still more to come. So I'm more worried about, which is kind of what Xavier says, like, I'm not worried about characters, I'm worried about the events. Like, I want to, like, that's what I'm more worried about. Like, what's going to happen, is the prophecy, like, what's going to happen with that, kind of thing. I don't care what happens with Sip or this, like, I don't know, like, it's just.
I mean, yeah, Sip disappointed me in this episode.
Big time. But
it's not him. It's obviously the direction they chose to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them kind of disappointed me in this episode, except for Cortland. Cortland was who he was. And I think JoJo could be someone I can enjoy eventually, but that's just where we are right now. I mean, I don't know, man. It's gonna come back. I'm not at How I Met Your Father level right now, but I'm at the point where if it comes back on, I got something else to do. I'm probably gonna do that something else, and then maybe one night I'll go and just, do it all.
Yeah.